Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man.
Hey guys, this is James calling in from Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Nice.
First of all, thanks so much for everything you guys do. You're awesome. Love the podcast. I just have a question about mold minimalization and what you think about it. Are you a fan? Are you not? I think of Philo Brathwaite, who has like 5 molds, and like Nate Doss, who has I think 7. And I was just wondering if there's anyone on the Dynamic Discs team that kind of has the same philosophy with their discs. So thanks a lot, and look forward to your input.
Thanks, James.
Nice.
Mold minimization. Well, let's clarify something real quick. Yes, Nate Doss only throws like 7 molds, but some of the molds that he throws are old. You know, like he's got predators in there that he's had for 10 years that aren't really a predator. So if he were to lose it, it'd be like, I mean, I'm sure he has backups, but most people, they'd probably have to get a different disc. Like I think Discraft came out with like a Thrasher or something like that I've seen that flies like I think what his Predators fly like right now. I don't think it's a bad thing to minimize the molds in your bag. I certainly don't think it's a good thing to have one of every mold. To where if I need a high speed shot that finishes left, I carry an Enforcer, and if I need one that goes straight, I carry a Trespass, and if I need one that turns to the right, I carry a Renegade. You know, like having discs in different stages of wear is helpful to you because you have already that disc feels comfortable to you. You knew the flight characteristics when you started throwing it, and so you've watched it progress into what it is. I think that sort of disc is easier to trust than a brand new disc out of the box, because every company's discs have inconsistencies. And without just getting out and throwing them a whole lot, you may not know if a brand new disc is going to fly like you want it to. So I do recommend and do implement for myself mold minimization in my bag, but it's within reason. You know, I carry Defenders, I carry Enforcers, Trespasses, Criminals, Convicts. I usually just carry 1 Verdict, 1 Justice, a few EMAC Truths, several Wardens, things like that. So it's not a ton of molds. But if it's only for the sake of, say you really, really like how a Renegade flies, but you're like, oh man, that's just 1 more mold in my bag. I don't freak out too much about that. You know, if it's just a one-off, throw that in. If that disc flies how you want, man, use that disc. Don't try and beat another disc into being that disc if you already have the disc that you need. I'd say it can be overdone, and a bunch of people, maybe not a bunch of people, but some people fall prey to that occasionally.
What about you, Denise? Do
yeah.
you think do you have a lot of molds, or you do?
I'm a big proponent of mold minimalization.
Yeah.
And the reason being is that, you know, you can say you have a different mold for every single shot that you could possibly throw.
Mhm.
And of course you can get crazy, but say, you know, 12 plus molds, I'd say is maybe like 15 plus is on the high side. But the way I look at it is you can have, you know, that 1 disc of each mold, and maybe you have a couple of the ones you really throw a lot. But if you lose that disc, the chances of you replacing that with one that flies exactly the same is very low, especially if it's a disc that's been in your bag for a while because you've seasoned it a little bit. So I really encourage people to build a simple bag, especially starting out. Build a simple bag that has kind of a good range of stability. You know, you have kind of your overstable, your neutral, and your other understable,
And each speed.
and your putters, your mids, your fairways, your drivers. You know, then you build your basic well-rounded bag, and then you really learn your discs. You really get a feel for them. And when you're going out and doing field work, I think a lot of people that kind of like to keep minimal molds usually keep at least two of the things they throw a lot. Because typically you'll end up with one that's a little newer and one that's a little more seasoned. So you're always transitioning. You know, if your seasoned one gets to the point where it's too flippy, maybe you now use that for flippier shots. Maybe you yank it out of your bag, but you always have one right behind it that's kind of seasoning in. And so you're always going to have discs that you're familiar with how they fly, and you're always going to kind of have a backup working in. To where if you lose something, if you carry one of everything and they have to be brand new, you know,
it's tough to maintain.
Yeah, most disc golfers can't, you know, continually replace a brand new disc to keep that same stability.
Right.
You know, their discs are going to break in over time.
Now, my perspective is a little different because I mean, when I look at the two of you guys play a lot of disc golf. I mean, if we were to take a 2-week time period, I would say maybe I've played twice, whereas you guys have played probably 15 times.
2 weeks? Be more than once a day.
You don't play
More than once a day?
like if it's on a.
No.
Well, I remember like one time, like Eric and Denise were like playing every night. It seemed like,
we
or at
used
least
to play almost
right.
every
Yeah.
single day.
Yeah, she would. I mean, they or at the very least they would go out and play when you lived closer to Jones East. Was it Jones East?
We actually live
Oh.
closer to Jones East now.
No, you live
to
closer
Hammond
to
is what they
but
were
you would
before.
go out and I would drive by and I would see you guys at least on the marksman basket putting
Oh yeah.
over there putting. Or Eric was doing something throwing, and Denise was over on the practice basket. So
Yeah.
I'm not.
So,
far,
so maybe not.
So my analogy's
maybe
not far off.
Sorry. I guess I was thinking full rounds. My bad. You're right.
So anyway,
I'm wrong. You're
now
right.
I'm lost.
Are you happy?
You
I'm very happy.
For
you ruined
people-
his train of thought.
Yeah. So what
People
I'm
who
getting,
play more play less.
what I'm getting at is that for me now, I'm not saying that mold minimization.
I say minimization. but-
Minimization.
Yeah,
What
whatever.
did I say something different?
No, whatever.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing because I fall victim to wanting to try out new molds. And I'll literally look at my bag and like I can picture like a Renegade I have right now that probably looks brand new that I bought 2 months ago
Mhm.
because I haven't thrown it hardly ever.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there's sometimes like I have a red Renegade and a light blue Renegade because I love the Renegade, and then I have a Lucid Renegade that's in there as well. I really always grab that red one,
Mhm.
and sometimes I'll grab that blue one because in my mind I'm thinking I've got to get that thing beat in a little bit, But that's because I don't play a whole lot. I'm not even sure what my point was, other than it's a little different depending on how
For sure.
often you play.
I kind of see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
And it kind of brings up another point where, a good thing to think about is you look at your bag and could you honestly say that you know how every disc you pull out of there
No.
flies? And see, that's why I think it comes a little different. For me, if I'm playing a lot of tournaments, I don't want to have any disc in my bag that I could pull out and I'm like, I think this
I don't
one's
really
pretty
know.
stable,
Yeah.
but I'm not really sure. I haven't thrown it a lot. Whereas when I'm playing more casually, that's when I'm likely to maybe throw something in the bag to try out. But for the most part, there's no off season when you're playing a lot of tournaments throughout
Yeah.
the year. Even in the wintertime when you're maybe not playing a couple or more a month, you're still trying to learn those discs in your bag so that there's no question
and
when
I'm
you're in that situation.
and I'm all casual.
Right.
I haven't played a sanctioned event in a while, but I mean, you actually hit on a really good point when you said that, Denise, because literally when we were playing the Freedom Fest, I thought to myself, I don't even know what the heck some of these discs do because I haven't thrown them in forever.
Mhm.
Right.
And so I don't know the feel of it releasing from my hand. I don't know to watch it do. It's like, and I mean, it's a little frustrating for me because
Sure.
I want to be, I want to be, I'm a casual player and I get that, but I still want to play well.
Yeah, everyone wants to play well.
So,
Oh, for sure.
So anyway, one of the biggest things that I know a practice to do is when you're going to go play a casual round, only grab maybe 4 molds and force yourself. Grab a small bag or a Walmart bag or something, a little cadet bag, and only take 4 molds. What you need, a driver, a fairway, and a putter, and maybe a mid range, obviously, or some kind of combination, and see what happens.
Mm.
And you will really learn what those discs can do.
Yep, for sure.
And,
or one disc rounds.
Yeah,
too.
one disc rounds are amazing to see that. But so that's something that definitely I challenge people to do at their local course on a Saturday if they got time. Grab only maybe 3 or 4 molds and force yourself to only play with those discs, and that'll help you learn your molds for sure.
Yep, I like that.